We're going to fly up the Hamakua coast towards Kohala to go see the valleys and the waterfalls.
Here's a little song I wrote. You might want to sing it note for note. Don't worry.
Be happy.
In every life we have some. When you worry, you
Here we go.
make it double. Don't worry.
Anybody else want the karaoke mic?
Be happy.
This is Hilo Bay to the left-hand side, downtown Hilo. We've had tsunamis hit Hilo Bay on occasion throughout history. The last was 1960. Prior to that, 1946.
There's no place I'd rather be. Lingering in the ocean blue. I'd surf till the sun sets beyond the horizon. Flying by on a Hawaiian roller coaster ride. Miki Miki Mairo Hirohi. La 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 ikala hana hana heri heri mai tahu there's no place I'd rather be.
This is the eastern side of Mauna Kea to the left-hand side here. It's a little more green than the western side of Mauna Kea. Now Hawaii is the northernmost tip in the Polynesian Triangle. If you draw a line from Hawaii to New Zealand to Easter Island back to Hawaii, that is Polynesia. There's very little land mass in Polynesia, but it's about a third of the planet in size.
There's no place where I've been, lingering in the ocean blue. I'd surf till the sun sets beyond the horizon, flying by on the Hawaiian roller coaster ride. I'll be keeping my lobby, speaking la 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 la.
Now there are, the first inhabitants here were the Polynesians about the 3rd, 4th century. They came from the Marquesas Islands first, which is about 2,000 miles to the south-southeast. Also Tahitians, Tongans, and Samoans came to Hawaii as well. There's a series of laws called kapu. Kapu means taboo or forbidden. Different things were considered kapu. Some were a good idea, such as certain kinds of fish would be considered kapu for a while, different crops, kapu. So food sources would say hi, it wouldn't starve to death. Others were kind of silly, like if you were an ali'i who was a chief, and there was a commoner, the commoner's shadow couldn't fall across an ali'i. That was considered kapu. Yeah, Cocker Falls is up there, Renee. Up that area where the clouds are. We're going to fly beyond there and head towards Kohala for the much higher and more spectacular waterfalls. The Polynesians had these large catamaran boats. They could both sail and paddle. They're about 150 feet long, and they use those to sail throughout the Pacific Ocean. No charts, no compasses, no written language. They'd use celestial navigation, stars, moon, sun. Also would observe currents, ocean currents, wind currents, animal migration patterns, different things like whales and birds, to find new places to live, or to get back and forth in between places they used to live. The first Western contact here was 1778. Captain James Cook, an English explorer and sea captain, first came to Hawaii in January of 78. He ran across the islands of Oahu and Kauai. He was trying to find the Northwest Passage. He was going to sail from Asia across the Pacific Ocean to North America, try and cut through Canada back to England. Of course, you can't do that, but he didn't know that. He came back here in the winter of 78-79 to what he called the Sandwich Isles, after the Earl of Sandwich, who was sponsoring the expedition. He sailed past Maui, then came here to the Big Island. He sailed down this coastline, and as you can see, it's not a very inviting coast. High sea cliffs, rough waters. So we sailed down around South Point, back up to Kealakekua Bay,
Misery is on the
which is
loose.
south of Kona.
People are lonely and lonely animals with too many tools that can build all the junk that we sell. Oh, sometime, man, make you wanna yell that things can go bad. And make
The
you
Hawaiians thought he was the god Lono
as we grow,
because he arrived during the Makahiki season,
rising begins to
which is when the Hawaiians worship the god Lono, to Kealakekua Bay, the same bay that Lono should appear to, on these large floating ships, with like large temples.
fade, fade, fade,
To the left here is Maulua Gulch,
fade, fade.
and the highway here is Highway 19, which runs around from Waikoloa through Waimea down to Hilo.
Mother, mother ocean, I've heard
Cook was here for a few weeks doing some trading with the locals, getting some supplies for his ship. He planned to winter here in Hawaii and head back toward the North America again in the summer, try and find that passage again. But he never made it. He was killed here in Hawaii on February 14th, 1779, over a skirmish about a rowboat. The Hawaiians stole one of Cook's longboats to get all the nails out of it. The Hawaiians were a Stone Age culture. They had no metal objects in their society. They stole the boat to burn it and get all the nails. Cook went ashore to get it back. Skirmish broke out and Cook was killed.
most of them dream. Yes, I am a pirate, 200 years too late. The cannons don't
To the left here is Laupahoehoe Point. You can see the rocks on the edge here. That 1946 tsunami that hit Hilo Bay also hit Laupahoehoe Point. It was on April 1st, 1946, April 1st. It's called the April Fool's Day tsunami because it hit April Fool's Day. And many people lost their lives because of the date that it hit. When the sirens went off, everyone thought, oh, April Fool's joke.
but I missed it away so fast. Never meant to last. Never meant to last. And I have been drunk now for over 2 weeks. I passed out and I rallied and I sprung a few leaks. But I got to stop fishing. Got to go fishing down the rock bottom again. Just a few friends. Just a few friends.
To the left here is O'Okala, and the trees beyond it are eucalyptus trees. They've been brought in from Australia to grow to make particle board and pulp for paper. All this land was sugarcane fields. Basically from Hilo to Kohala, 4 miles wide, 30 miles long of sugarcane.
Still could manage to smile.
Now sugar has dropped off here in Hawaii. The last commercial plant closed in 1996.
Just takes a while.
And the main reason for the drop in sugar production and the drop off totally was labor costs. Other countries in Asia, Africa, Central and South America also grow sugarcane, and they're not quite paying minimum wage.
Occupation's just not around. I feel like I
For years, the Hawaiian sugar businesses kept the wages very low and the conditions fairly poor for the workers.
feel like I drowned.
When we became a state, that all changed.
Gone ahead of town.
Now, when the Europeans arrived to Hawaii, they brought with them disease, which the Polynesians had no immunity to, and many of them died. Only about 6% of the people in Hawaii now are Hawaiian or part Hawaiian, so very few. So when sugar started, there wasn't a large enough workforce to support the industry. So they brought in workers from China, Japan, Philippines, Korea, Portugal.
Who am I
and they'd keep large groups of the same ethnic background separated, so they couldn't get together and organize and complain. Is she a complainer, Ron? Before sugar, the big trading here was whaling. It's a big industry here in Hawaii. Now, whaling stopped in the 1800s because of the discovery of oil. Oil saved the whales in a weird way. It became not cost effective to produce whale oil. This is the windward side of Hawaii, the rough and windy side. You can see the white caps below us. The Kona side is the calm side, and the word Kona means leeward or downwind. Now the waters here are very blue because the water is very deep and it is very clear. That's why water is blue. As light enters water, color is absorbed. First goes red, then goes orange, then goes yellow, then goes green, then go the blues. So the deeper and clearer the water, the more blue it looks. As you go offshore of Hawaii, for every mile you're offshore, you're in about a mile of water. Unless you're in between Hawaiian Islands, I think it's a little bit shallower. But right off of here, if you go about 6 miles offshore, that's 6 miles down. Okay, only 18,000 feet, so it's only about 4 miles down. Sea floor is a little over 18,000 feet below the surface here. In between Maui and the Big Island, between Maui, Koholalele, Lanai, Molokai, the shallower water there. When the whales come to Hawaii, they most hang out in that area between Maui and Koholalele and Lanai because that was all one island before, and the water is shallower, safer for their calves. To the left here is the Hona power plant. You can see the large white tanks in the stacks there. We import a lot of coal and oil to make electricity here in Hawaii. Makes our bills pretty high. There is some wind power on Apollo Point and South Point, some hydroelectric in Hilo, and some geothermal as well, but it's not enough. Now we're almost to Kohala. The first large valley here is going to be the Waipio Valley. The word Y means fresh water, and Pio means the curve or arch. And since there's a curving river through the valley here, you get Waipio. You can drive to Waipio, you can drive into Waipio. It does require four-wheel drive. Without it, you'll get in, you won't get back out. A little more rainfall here. This keeps the waterfalls flowing though, the rainwater. All the fresh water in Hawaii comes from rain. Here it is, the Waipio Valley. This is the largest black sand beach on the island. Black sand comes from broken down lava rock. We have plenty of that here in Hawaii. White sand from broken down coral. People live in Waipio Valley. We're not going to buzz their houses. We're going to find the next one called Waimanu. You can't drive to Waimanu. You can hike it over the ridgeline here, up the side, across, and back down. Takes a little over 8 hours. No problem, right, James? A little 8-hour hike to Waimanu. By kayak, it's a little over an hour, depending on the seas and the pace of your kayaking. This fall is about 2,000 feet high. Waiilikahi is the name of it. This is Kaka'auki to the right hand side. And the next large fall to the right, La Homine. Now the falls back here are 2,500 feet high. Coming to your side, Patricia. Over time, these falls will keep on carving away the rock and making larger valleys throughout the mountainside. The next valley here is called Honopue, or the Bay of Conflict. The rocks ahead to the right, the one on the right hand side, is called Mokopuka, which means island with a hole in it, like puka shells. A puka shell is a shell with a hole in it. These last few valleys here in the rain are Hono, Kananui, and Pololu valleys. You can drive the Pololu, take 19 to 270. When 270 stops, you're at Pololu Valley. We're going to fly around Apollo Point, which is the northwestern tip of the island.
What are those polka dots?
I have cattle land down here. Different feeding spots for the cattle. You can see this area up here, it looks like a pie, and you can see the cattle in one piece of the pie, and they'll move them around that area to graze off different parts of the field. Across the way we can see Maui, kind of. You can see the dark image between the clouds. About our 1 o'clock, it's Haleakala over on Maui. To our left here is towns of Kapa'au and then Hawaii out here in Kohala. You can see the wind farm out here on Apollo Point. And the airport here is Apollo Airport. This was a naval air station in World War II, Apollo Point. Sea changes fast here on the island of Hawaii from one side to the next of Kohala. One side is rainforest, valleys, and waterfalls. We cross the ridgeline here, which is right about on the left-hand side here, and it turns to being very dry very quickly. A couple of heiaus down here are temples. The one on the left-hand side is called the Molokini Heiau, and the one to the right here is the birthplace of King Kamehameha. Now the forests were cut back a lot here on Kohala to make more grazing land for the cattle. See some rock walls along the side of the coastline here. Those are built with the Hawaiians. It hasn't been that long since Hawaii was a sovereign nation, undiscovered by any Western influence. 1778 isn't that long ago, when you think about it. We're going to get a wind shift here in a minute as we cross over the ridgeline of Kohala. You see the white caps are disappearing below us. We'll get into the lee of the mountain for the Kona side.
Okay, this one's from Gabby.
They used to irrigate this part of Kohala. They'd irrigate the water from the eastern side to the western side and grow crops. The Ali'i would divide the land up like a piece of pie, from top of the mountain down to the coast, top of the mountain down to the coast. They'd all have access to the sea, to the forests, all the different resources they would need for sustaining their communities. But there was constant infighting between the elite back and forth. They'd battle back and forth for more land, more fresh water supplies. The Hawaiians loved a good fight, and they weren't afraid of death because they believed very strongly in reincarnation. Which is why when Cook and his men went up against the Hawaiians, they thought they only had a couple of guys with a couple muskets, no problem. When those muskets went off in that first volley, the Hawaiians didn't back down. This is no repeating rifle, no revolvers, no machine guns, so they were overrun very quickly by the Hawaiians, who were big guys. They were all 6.5, 7 feet tall, 380. Now we're almost to Kauai Harbor. You can see the break wall there sticking out from the water and some boats in the harbor. That is the deep water port for the western side of Hawaii. If you were to move to Hawaii, bring a vehicle or a container, and you put in a Kauai here for the western side. There is no such thing as free shipping to Hawaii. It's very expensive. There's some good restaurants in Kauai. There's the Cafe Pesto, Harbor Grill, Seafood Bar, all good places to eat and check out. You can rent kayaks in Kauai Harbor, kayak on the coastline here. Now the first big hotel here to the right hand side by the first large beach cove is the Mauna Kea Hotel, which is closed right now due to earthquake damage. We had a 6.7 earthquake 2006 in October. And it damaged the Mauna Kea beyond occupancy. They have been refurbishing it and rebuilding it since then. It'll open again end of this year, early next year. As the jobs dropped off in sugarcane industries, it picked up in tourism, and one of those first places to find work was the Mauna Kea. The next one down is the Hapuna Prince Beach Hotel in Hapuna Beach, the largest white sand beach on the island. Up to the left here is Waikoloa Village. That's where I live up in that area.
You don't need no memory, just a place to call your own. As we drift into the zone, on and in the sun, we'll be playing and having fun. And it makes me feel so fine, I can't control my brain. We'll run away together. We'll spend some time forever. We'll never feel that anymore.
To the right here is the Fairmont Orchid, the bluish gray roof. Further on down is the Mauna Lani. The next large group buildings is the Waikoloa Hilton, and then finally the Marriott. Can't quite see Hawaii due to the haze, but it's down there.
On an island in the sun, we'll be playing and having fun. And it makes me feel so fine, I can't control my brain. We'll run away together. We'll spend some time forever. We'll never feel.
We are on the final approach here, folks, back into the heliport. I'd like to say mahalo for flying with us today at Blue Hawaiian. Blue Hawaiian is here in Waikoloa. We're also in Hilo. We're also on the islands of Maui and Kauai. If you ever come back, look us up. It's a whole different experience on the different islands. If you do me a favor, when you head back home to your friends and family, recommend Blue Hawaiian by name. I don't want to get a real job anytime soon, so I appreciate that. The entire flight today was on DVD, 1 inside camera and 3 outside cameras. All the music and the commentaries on the DVD. Check it out before you buy in the gift shop. And as you walk inside, there is a guest sign-in book. Please sign your names and where you're from. Any feedback about the tour. My name was Jason, in case you forgot. If you had a bad time today, my name was Frank. When we land, the ground crew gets you out. They'll walk you back inside. I'd like to say mahalo, hui ho aloha, which is thank you. We'll see you later, and goodbye.
While the moon is on the sea, the night is young, and so are we, so are we. Dreams come true in blue Hawaii. And mine could all come true. This magic night of nights with you. Come with me while the moon is on the sea. The night is young, and so are we, so are we. Our dreams come true in blue Hawaii. And mine could all come true. This magic night of